Like, it felt like we was in a concert in hell. You couldn't breathe. You couldn't see. Like, just imagine all the people they're going to find tonight who was in that crowd, who nobody could see, who nobody could hear, who passed out, and everybody was just trampling on top of them the whole fucking concert. Like,
there are some people who were just laughing at those of us who were like screaming to get out because they thought it was funny, and they're not realizing that this is terror. We're trying to get out of here. The crowd didn't start out that packed. There was space. We didn't sign up to come here for this.
Hello, my name is Niara. I am a survivor of ASTROWORLD 2021, as you can tell by the title. A lot of you have probably found me from the TikTok that I posted, or maybe you've just come across this because you've been searching up ASTROWORLD things. But I'm going to do something that I did not think I'd be doing, which is sharing my story. To be transparent, I have been diagnosed with PTSD from this, so if you hear me shaking or if I pause to take a deep breath, it is because I want to tell this story as calmly as possible, because my intention with sharing this is not to push my anxiety or to push my traumas onto you who has taken time out of your day to view this. I simply want to share what happened that night from my perspective. I want to be the one to tell my story. I know that there is a lot of new sudden interest in this because of the documentary that Netflix did. And I'm so grateful they made that documentary, but it does leave out a lot. And I understand that I don't think any publication will ever tell the full events of that night, because I don't know that they will ever find people like me willing to work with them, because you're not going to edit my story, you know? The other thing is, if you see me kind of tensing, I'm squeezing my little stress ball, because this is going to be a little stressful. So I'm going to tell you how this video is going to go. Current day me is going to talk about, or expand on the events that took place that night. And then I'm going to do something else I didn't think that I would ever do, which is share my voice memos that I recorded 5 days after ASTROWORLD for my own, recounting of events, and so that I did not forget them. And I'm really glad I did that, because almost 4 years later, I have definitely suppressed a lot of those memories. Listening back to that voice memo for the first time ever actually helped me remember a lot of things that I did want to forget. And a lot of those things I will tell again now, current day, because the panic in my voice in those voice notes, I don't want to send you into a panic. I want you to know that this is going to be a safe listening space. If you have seen my TikTok video, then you have already seen that I didn't really use any video. I didn't use any videos at all, actually, in my main TikTok, where I discussed parts of what happened that night. And it's going to be like that here. I'm going to use video, but you will not hear sound for more than maybe 3 seconds, because I can tell from comments that the sound is disturbing people, as it should. It's kind of disturbing sounds that we're playing. And I'm not going to show too many videos from that night, but the ones that I will show will not involve any deceased bodies or any bodies in pain, because I'm not here, once again, to dump trauma to you. I just want you to know the truth. And I hope that after you listen, you find it in your heart to share it with other people. And the only reason I want that is because I think that there should be awareness around what happened that night. I think that awareness should be brought to celebrity culture in general, and parasocial relationships, as we all know, is a really big topic on the internet a lot of the times. And lastly, I just want people to be very mindful about what you take in, and how just taking in certain things can literally change your life forever. So with that being said, I'm going to jump on in. Putting this in here, a little disclaimer, this is basically a rated R video. So if you happen to be someone watching this with a child, I just wanted to throw that out there. I will be using profanity, like I'm going to be cursing. And the things I'm going to talk about, like I said, are a little bit dark. So I just wanted to throw those things out here now. I will be bleeping out the names of the people I was with for their own privacy, because they are private people. And yeah, that's it. I just wanted to put that little disclaimer in here. I'm going to start with, what we knew. I went out with a group of friends. My friend was turning 21. As we all remember, it was COVID. We had been in quarantine for so long. And so everyone was excited to finally go outside. Like, we're just like, yeah, let's go out. And my friend who was turning 21, she said that she wanted to go see Travis Scott perform in Houston. And then after that, go to Vegas. And we all were like, yeah, why not? Like, that sounds fun. Let's do it. When the tickets went on sale, something that I have not heard anyone talk about is the quantity that was mentioned to us who actually bought those tickets. When we bought those tickets, there were messages being shared that they were selling them at a restricted amount, specifically because of COVID and the fact that they wanted us to be safe. That was what we were told. The tickets were going to be sold at a restricted amount. And if I'm remembering correctly, the amount was like $25,000. That's what they said they were selling, if not $20,000. But it was in the 20s that they claimed they sold. They sent out like, emails afterwards when you got the tickets that told you like you had to show up with your either your COVID card, or you had to show up with like, the fact that you had negative test results for COVID. You had, they told us about the clear bag policy. Like, they shared out a lot of things. But the main thing I want you to remember is that they told us they sold those tickets at a restricted amount. And it was not until after ASTROWORLD, and really for me, it was not really until this recent documentary came out that I realized they lied to us from the beginning. From jump, they lied to us. Moving on. When it comes to Travis Scott, my relationship with Travis Scott was simply, he's a man who makes music. I cannot stress enough to you how much I don't care about celebrities. I'm not into celebrity culture. I can't run down to you about celebrities' personal lives. The only thing I ever know about a celebrity is because a friend mentioned it to me. The only celebrity who maybe I know more about than the average celebrity is Beyonce. And that's because I have been listening to her since I, was a kid when Destiny's Child came out. So, I went through my teenage years and my young adult years really loving Beyonce, but I still never stand her. I was never a stan for an artist. I just don't believe in that. Something else I should mention too is I'm an artist myself. For a while, I thought that I would become a performing artist, but the more I went out and actually did it, I realized I don't even enjoy performing on stage, because to me, it is literally too performative. Like, in my mind, the job of an artist, it is to entertain. It is to make sure the people out in the crowd are really connecting with you, right? And I had too much stage fright, and I also do not want, I'm not a person who really wants to be known, which is why it also has taken me so long to do something like this, just in case this reaches a level I don't expect. I'm not someone who actually loves the spotlight. I don't. I enjoy the songwriting. I enjoy just making my music, but I always got bad anxiety about going on stage, so I realized that was not for me. But I myself am an artist, and with that, I've never just been just so obsessed with other artists, because I view them as, you do what I do, you just do it on a higher level. You know what I'm saying? There's not really many artists that when they perform, I'm just like, oh my God. That, for me, that just does not happen. That's not how I take in artistry. That's number one. Something else that makes me very unique is not just the fact that I'm from New York, not born and raised, don't want to misrepresent myself. I lived in North Carolina and Jersey, in between those two places until 13, and I was in New York all the way up until the pandemic, right? So it's not just that I'm from New York and we see celebrities left and right, depending on what type of circles you run in, but I also was raised by a parent who was pretty well connected. He's playing basketball with Tang. We got Tyra Banks in the apartment, just chilling. We are at, we're spending time in California in the mountains for Christmas, and Lorenz Tate is at the dinner table. You understand me? When you spend real time in close quarters with celebrities like that, I just don't think you're really just wowed by them. You view them as people. I'm saying all that to say, the most I knew about Travis was that he made music that I liked, and not always. When Out Farrell came out, that was not for me. I didn't really like it. I thought, this Kanye wannabe, what's going on here? It was not until Days Before Rodeo came out that I started to pay attention, because I really liked the beats. I think it's called Backyard Freestyle or Basement Freestyle. One of those songs, that was a song that got me. I said, oh, I kind of understand what's going on here. This, he's a vibe, you know what I'm saying? Then Mamacita came out, and Mamacita might have been earlier. It might have been, but I didn't really hear it until around that time, because that's when I started paying attention to him. Even at that point though, when he came out, this is after artists like The Weeknd came out, who, if you were around when The Weeknd came out, then you know, you can find an image of that man if you paid the government for it, okay? There was no images of The Weeknd online. It was nothing but lyric videos and mood videos for him. Lana Del Rey was very much the same when she came out. That was just how the scene was starting to shift a little bit for the people who came out in like sadcore or in like, you know, vibey types of genres. They wanted to remain underground. So I never even really researched what he looked like because I was used to not knowing what an artist looked like. Definitely didn't research his shows because I literally don't care about rappers. I feel like rappers get the worst shows in the world, brother. The worst shows in the world, okay? The only rap shows I went to, my first concert ever was A$AP Mob, and it was their first show in New York. I was at that one, if anyone knows what that one was. But it was close up. It was in like Midtown, you know? I went to that one. Such a good night, but all these men walking around yelling on stage, I said, that's it? Like, okay. The next rap concert I ever went to was for Ray Shrimmer in Philly. Like me and my friend got on a bus and came to Philly. And same thing, like, you know, they actually performed a little more and it actually was kind of hype, but it was still people just like, it was still really them just walking around screaming. Like, I'm just like, I don't really care about this. So when I tell you, right hand to God, I've never even looked up a Travis Scott set. I didn't care. My friends, like the few friends who I've seen him perform, they always told me the same thing. And when I say few, I do mean it in the literal term of 3. They told me the same thing. Yo, it was so hot, but we had a great time. Just don't go to the front of the stage. Like, whatever you do, avoid the front of the stage, Niara. That's all they would tell me. Avoid the front because they like to fight. And I said, what do you mean they like to fight? They said, yeah, like they do moshes in the front. Now this blew my mind because moshing was never a part of rap culture. I knew what moshing was. As an artist, I listen to all styles of music. I'm not a stranger to it. I was a stranger to it at a rap show though, because what do you mean? Like, well, what does that even look like? And then I'm extra confused because I'm thinking, what type of music Travis got that I'm not hearing where moshing is involved? Like, I didn't see the vision for that. I didn't understand that. And because it's not like we're sitting around talking about Travis Scott, they're not digging into the fact that, yeah, he on the stage, like hyping them up to get crazy. That's not how it came off. They literally just told me they go to the front of the stage, they start opening up pits, and they basically start fighting each other. Copy. I won't be at the front of the stage. Heard you. So now let's jump to ASTROWORLD. When, you know, we bought the tickets, we decided to go out. We decided we're doing Houston for 2 days, Vegas for 2 days. We said, you know what, we'll just land day of. So day of, I land in the morning like 10:30, 11. I don't even get checked into my hotel till like 12:30. I have family in Houston, so we go grab something to eat. Like, it's just a chill day. By the time my friends land, and it was a group of like 5 of us all together, by the time my friends land and we have gotten settled in our hotels and Airbnbs or whatever, we've gotten together, they've gotten food, etc., etc., it's like 5. It's like 5 p.m. Okay, and once again, none of us are from there, so no one's on Houston's news. My family who was with me, they was with me, so it's not like they was on the news, like, you know, checking stuff. So I'm gonna pause right here to let you know up front, to find out that people like overran the barricades and hop fences. That was so shocking to hear, because we did not know that. Like, we didn't learn about that until literally after the show, and I'll put a pin in that and get to that later. But by the time we meet up, it's 5 o'clock, and the birthday girl, her birthday was going to be the next day on Saturday. She was like, yo, you know what? Let's go let's go see if we can find a smoke shop. Cause I you know, maybe I want to, like, you know, hit a vape or something while we out here. I intentionally, and 2 of my other friends, we were going to be sober the whole time anyway, but we said, you know, of course we're going to go with you to go look. But I can't speak for my friends besides the fact that they're not really, like, they don't do drugs, period. Like, 2 of my friends that were with us, they don't even do that, and they barely drink. So I understood why they wasn't going to do it. But for me, excuse me, sorry, my anxiety is making me burp a little bit, excuse me. For me, I was never going to smoke, period. I was going to be sober, period, because it's my first festival. And it's my first Travis Scott show. So I said, you know what? I actually want to be present for that. Like, I want to remember this, because I'm the type, when I smoke, it's not that I just forget everything, but you know, I'm not really remembering all of it, and I'm not fully present. I'm just more like just existing. And for this, I didn't want to just exist. I wanted to actually remember it, enjoy it. We spent like upwards of $1,000 on the trip altogether. I'm coming to enjoy some. In Denzel voice, I'm leaving here with something. Like, I am. And that's an experience, is what I thought. Didn't think I was going to be leaving with trauma. So we end up going to, like, there was only one smoke shop in the area. When we get there, though, it's not a smoke shop. Now, this was very bizarre. It's not a smoke shop. It's a showroom where, like, people are in fancy business suits and they're talking to you about the vapes. They had, like, an office upstairs. Like, the two friends who wanted to get it, they went in, we stayed outside. So I just saw it from the outside, but it was like a clear glass office building almost. It was just so interesting. And when they came back down with no vapes in hand, I was very confused until they explained to me, yeah, they don't even sell it here really. They just kind of tell you about it. What? Like, I still to this day don't know what that means. Okay. I was like, what y'all got going on in Houston? What's going on out here? I didn't work with a script, so I'm going to cut in a few times, but the entire point of me telling that was just to say the whole crew was sober. Like, we were all stone cold sober. So we end up calling Uber, and by the time we actually reach NRG, it's like 6 o'clock, right? Like, now it's starting to get a little too close to comfort for Travis to come out. We were like, dang, we really need to get inside. Now, as we're, you know, getting out the cab, we're looking for how to get in, because there's not really any signs, but we start to see, you know, foot traffic back and forth ahead of us. So we start walking down, and we noticed our first truly weird thing. But, you know, to us, it's not a red flag. It was just weird. There's a girl. She has one singular crutch with her. And, you know, from far away, she just looks like she's kind of like swaying a little bit. We can't tell if she's vibing. We can't tell if she's like, you know, off balance. We don't know what's going on. So as we get closer, once again, we're from New York. We won't be all up in everybody's face. But I remember looking over at her, and something was just a little off. Like, you know, like, if this is the frame, it was just a little off. Like, her hair wasn't a mess, but it also, like, I could tell, like, it had been messed in a little bit. Her shirt, like, the top up here had, like, you know, like a small little pull in it. Her jeans, them distressed jeans was distressing, baby. Like, it was a whole rip at the bottom. And once again, she's on one singular crutch. We're like, bro, what's going on? Like, are you okay? And when I look at her, the only emotion I can place on her is like exasperation. Like, she looked tired. Because by the time we get to her, she's now sitting down on the curb, and she's alone, which I was like, why is she out here alone with one singular crutch? I'm never going to give that up. That one crutch was sending me. Like, what's going on out here? But she looked so tired. And I was like, damn, like, how long she been here? We're just thinking she's tired because the festival been going since like 10 a.m., I believe. And at this point, like I said, it's 6. We're like, dang, like, you know, she probably been here all day. Like, you know, whatever. She been here all day. We're not digging into that. We keep walking, and we reach the first set of barricades. When we reach these barricades, like, you have to, you know, normally walk all the way around. But the barricades, some of them were already unhooked in a jar. And we were able to literally just walk straight through them to get all the way to the metal detectors. Why was that not a red flag for us? Once again, like, yes, this is my first festival, but I've been to a lot of concerts. And as someone who's been in a line at a concert, I have seen people unhook them and open them when, you know, there's not a lot of people coming in and they don't want to walk all the way around. They just unhook it and they cut across. So I'm like, oh, okay, like, you know, by the time we get there at 6 o'clock, there's no lines really to get into any of the NRG like festival grounds. Like, we're just walking straight through. The first real red flag for us, though, where, you know what? First pink flag for us. First pink flag. And so when we do finally pass those little barricades and we arrive to the first set of metal detectors, there's a table. And on that table, there are nothing but like COVID testing kits, but like spread out and piled up. Like, it looked like somebody just came and just dumped boxes of them on the table. Just dumped them. But they didn't look touched. Now, remember I told you, they told us, you know how everybody was. Got to show up with your card, with your vaccination card or your negative test results. You got to show up or you can't get into nothing, right? You remember how they was on that heavy. So we were thrown because here we are with our vaccination cards and results, and there's a table full of testing kits that don't even look touched. Security don't even ask us. Like, we have to ask him, like, is it you that we supposed to show this to? They were like, nah, you know what? It's whatever. Like, it's whatever. You know, just keep walking. And by keep walking, they mean just keep walking through the metal detectors. Now, none of us like that. We did audibly say something in that moment, because what do you mean you're not really patting us down to go through metal detectors? Like, now that was not normal to us. And I remember the one thing we thought about was, you know, violence, because we don't know, like, this is Texas, this is South, everybody own one. Who's to say somebody didn't come in here with one? But we also said, listen, everybody been locked up, it's quarantine. Who really left the house today to incite that type of violence? That's really what we're thinking. Like, who would show up to incite violence? Like, it's a festival. This is a place to come to have fun. So you know what? We tweaking. Let's just keep walking. And we do just that. And boy, was I wrong. I am going to jump ahead and let you know that when you get to the parts about us being within the actual crowd, there were actually people who showed up to hurt other people. Like, they said that. They literally were laughing at us while we were begging for help, which, as you get further into this, I will talk about, like, the actual us begging for help. But I never discussed how some people in that crowd were actually having a fun time and getting a lot of joy out of watching us scream and panic, because even though they're being crushed, a lot of them are probably high or something, but they're like, you know, you can't hang, basically. And they were not letting us out. A lot of them were not letting us out. As we keep walking, we, you know, have to go along the fence. It's a pretty long walkway to get to the main stairs that take you to the actual festival grounds. Like, it's a good 7-minute walk, I want to say, maybe, to get down there, and maybe call it 10, but between the, like, stopping and going between barricades and this and that. It's a good little walk. So as we're walking, there's 2 cops on horses that are going past us, and we're geeked. Like, yo, I'm a level with you. We was geeked. Like, we were like, oh my God, like, yo, we really in Houston. They got cops on horses out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow, y'all really country for real. That's what we're thinking, because we don't know the place has been overrun. We don't know that these cops have been called in on horses to try to, like, you know, sway people away from trying to come in. And they're not unfriendly to us. Like, you know, we're pointing at it, we're smiling, we're laughing, we're like, once again, like, yo, this is Houston for real. Like, this Houston for real. Y'all on horses. It was just fun for us. We keep walking, and finally we reach the final set of stairs that take you down onto the main, like, parking lot before you hit the festival grounds. And when we go down those stairs, I remember we saw a medical bay. And it was so far from the entrance. And we made a joke about it, because we're like, number one, it looked desolate. So I'm like, is that just for show? Like, why do they have a medical bay all the way out here? And then secondly, why do they have a medical bay all the way out here? Like, who is passing out in the parking lot? Like, what? And, you know, at this point, once again, it's not a lot of people. It's just not a lot of people. So we finally reached security. And this is where, like, it should have been a red flag, but it wasn't. And I will explain why.
What man? What are you talking about? I don't know.
Security's tweaking on us. Like, they're tweaking out on us, screaming, if you ain't got a wristband, if you ain't got a ticket, you not getting in. Now, at first we're like, whatever, bro. Like, just put the fries in the bag, nigga. What is we talking to? Sorry, I'm trying really not to use that word. Put the fries in the bag, nigga. Like, what are you talking about? Let us through the gate. You know, we're so confused by that. But as more time, you know, we're standing in his line, and now we're realizing, no, like, he's serious. He's not letting us in. And now we're confused, because not once does anyone say, oh yeah, you know, we had to fight people earlier, and, you know, y'all think y'all gonna overrun us. You know, they not saying anything that alludes to the fact of why they're tweaking out like this. They just seem like they're power tripping. So now we start getting a little antsy ourselves, because they're saying it again. Like, they keep repeating the same phrase, like, have a wristband, have a ticket. And we're like, duh, stupid. Like, that's how shows work. Why would we come here without tickets? Why would we come here without tickets? Why would we come here without tickets? Because we wouldn't be able to get in. Like, this is literally what we're thinking. We are just so confused by them. And to be clear, no one else in the line is like mentioning that anything happened. So I'm inclined to believe they also had no idea why these people was tripping. We just all kept saying like, yo, at this point, it's like 6:30, almost 6:40. Baby, let me in, or we gonna have some problems, okay? And by problems, I'm 5'4". I ain't fighting no grown man, but my mouth gets crazy when you piss me off. We're gonna have problems. Finally, they let us in. When we come through, this part I'm gonna commit, it's not committed to memory, so take this with a grain of salt, but I believe the first merch line was past the security, but I could be wrong. That could have been past the big Travis mouth. But when we come in, like, we do see one ride, and then we do see the Travis mouth. So yeah, the merch must have been behind it. We see one ride, we go up to it. The cost is crazy. I don't want to drag it, but I think they was trying to charge between $20 to upwards of like $40 for these little rink-dink rides. Listen, I don't know what y'all got going on out in Houston. I had no idea if maybe they don't have any amusement parks, but baby, up top, we have Six Flags. And the amount that I would spend on 2 rides here, I could get a whole theme park. So guess what we did? Not get on them rides. I'll tell you that right now. We took pictures in front of the big Travis head. And no, it did not freak us out, right? Like, I know for a lot of people, they look at that and they're like, it's giving Dante's Inferno, it's giving this, it's giving that. To be honest, I didn't see the correlation in because I had never even seen a picture of Dante's Inferno. So it never freaked me out. And also because I'm not a person who judges art right away. Like, just because it's a little weird to me does not mean that I'm automatically going demonic. Like, that's just not how I operate with art. Art is subjective. Art is to be observed. And art is not always meant to be pretty, right? It can be dark sometimes. That's the beauty of art. It can be dark, but it should never compromise your soul. I do want to make that very clear. So no, walking through the head, like, we're not freaked out. We're just like, oh, fine, this is the head that's on the cover. We keep it pushing. We go through, and now this is where we're on the, we're really inside the festival now. The festival grounds. We're looking around. People are happy. People are smiling. There's hip hop music blasting. And I want to make that clear here. I think that there is possibly a misconception that the weird noises circulating around the internet near Travis's stage were playing everywhere on the grounds. They were not. They were not. There was regular hip hop music playing throughout all of the grounds. All of them when you come in. Like, I'm talking, you can't even hear the weird noises from where we were. It's just regular music. We see some stands. It was like the Cactus Jack stand, but people are just standing and chilling. We didn't come here to do that. Like, we didn't come here to pretend like we, some cool kids standing on the wall. No shade to y'all who did, but that's just not what we flew out here to do. So we don't go to Cactus Jack stand. We see the Sphere, but there was a line. I really don't do lines like that if I don't have to. Not going in there either. And so then, we were still walking and we passed the drink stand. And I said, you know what? I will get one drink. Because the one thing that we know, those of us who go to concerts, who go to stadiums, and now that I've been to a festival, go to festivals, we know the drinks is never given. Like, it's never giving. You're getting turned off of one drink. But I was just like, you know what? Let me just taste it. Because I remember they were using Red Bull and something else, but I think they were also using the drinks that Cactus Jack at the time were selling. So I said, you know what? I'll try that. And it's like $20, and it was basically juice. But while we're there in line, as we're leaving the line, we bump into like a father and son. And there, the son is like, I think he told us that he was like 16 turning 17. They were Hispanic, they were very kind, and they were sober. So this is where I also want to point out, there's a narrative running around that everybody there was just high, bonker off drugs. Like, they were just ridiculously high. No. Because we talked to a lot of people along, like, as we were taking the walk to get to Travis's stage, we were stopping. We were talking to people. People were walking alongside us, talking about how excited they were. And a lot of them were sober. So everyone was not just freaked out high. It's not what was happening. Anyway, we keep walking after we get the drinks, and we decide, because at this point, it's nearing like 7 o'clock. We said, you know what, let's go and actually start setting up camp at Travis's set. We get there, and you know what, let me pull back a bit. As we're walking, you come to almost like a crossroads of sorts, because there's the stage to our left, and that's where all of the other performers are performing, and then the stage to the right was Travis. And as you turn the path to start heading towards Travis's stage, that's when we start hearing the interesting music, is what I'll call it. We start walking down the path, and it's not as loud, but when you get closer, it's just amazing how sound and acoustics work and things like that. But as you start to really near this stage, it's roaring, like it's loud. And I'm like, oof, like, what is that? What is this, honey? Like, what's that? But I'm not freaked out because I listen to a lot of different, I listen to a lot of different artists. You know, one of my favorite artists is Bjork. And if you know anything about Bjork, I'm not a stranger to like interesting sounds, to experimental sounds. Like I'm not new to that, but I definitely could not place what the hell they were playing. All I knew was this is loud. Like, oh my God, please, my eardrums is so loud. So we go and we cut to, you know, we decide that we're gonna go to the left side of the stage because it's the first like entrance. Why not? At this point, it's still pretty empty. There's like, you know, most of the people are at the other stage. And we, at this point, we don't even realize how big that crowd is. Like, we can't really tell because we don't stop to go see it. But we're like, you know, it's pretty empty. So we set up camp there. After maybe like 15 minutes, I want to say, my friend says, you know what, actually, I want to go see Lil Baby. Now, we did vow to each other, we're not splitting up. So although we were like, damn, like, we got these spots though, it's her birthday. She's the birthday girl. So we're going to leave. And we did that. We left. And we went to go watch Lil Baby. It was a good set. It was nice. It was fun. And now it's like, you know, getting real dark. And by the time we finish there, like I'll say we leave like 5 minutes before Lil Baby set is over. We end up coming back to our spots. And at this point, it's still not that crowded, right? So we're able to get pretty close to the exact spots we had before. Now, something I realized I skipped out on is the first time that we went in to like get our spots at Travis's stage. It must have been a little bit earlier because we had enough time to get the spots, and then me and one of my friends had to use the bathroom. So we had enough time to do all that, and when we got back from the bathroom is when my friend said she wanted to go see Lil Baby. So whatever time frame that is, I can't really work that out. You know, I don't fully remember. But when we are leaving to go to the bathroom for the first time, we said, you know what, let's just cut across the field, because the porta potties were on the other side of the stage. As we're running across the field, you know, we don't get that far before we start seeing people just kind of like a little elevated, and they look like they're sitting, and I'm like, what the hell are they sitting on? And sure enough, it's these high barriers that come like to here to me. Like, I can't hop them, right? Once again, I'm 5'4" on a good day. Like, I'm dragging it. I be trying to force my doctor to tell me I'm 5'4" on a good day. So these barriers are coming up like here. Like, I really can't hop that at all. I ain't even got the strength to pull my body up to all that. You know, at the time I was strong, but you know, I wasn't doing no pull-ups. So my one friend, he did hop it, and he kept going to the porta potties. I went all the way out and around to the porta potties. But I just remember saying to myself, that's so weird. Like, you know, I know this is my first festival, but I've never even heard word of mouth about there being like bars in the center of a field in a festival. I didn't think danger. I just thought, that's bizarre. So like I said, we come back. That's when we go see Lil Baby. We come back, boom. Now it's closer to like, you know, 7:30, 7:40. And I realized, dang, I gotta go to the bathroom again. So I do just that. Like, my friends were telling me, they're like, yo, you should really try to hold it. Like, if you leave now, because now, like, it's still not packed, but it's starting to fill up. They're like, you're not going to find us. And I told them, I remember telling them, like, you know, I'm going to find you. Because to be clear, although this was my first festival, this was not, and no pun intended, this was not my first rodeo. I've had to cut through crowds before. That was nothing. And I've never had a problem spotting people I'm with. I just have very good, you know, I'm able to put like markers on things I've seen, you know. So I was able to remember the people that were around us, the people that I saw even when I ran in the first time to, you know, try to use the bathroom. I remembered that much. I was like, I'll find y'all again. Spoiler alert, I do find them again, right? But before I find them, I go to use the bathroom again at the porta potties. And now, because like I said, it's like 8 o'clock, you know, it's close to the 8 now. It's starting to get dark out. Like really dark. The sun is setting. Sorry, the sun is setting, and when I'm leaving the porta potties, I see this like pinkish glow coming from, like, if I'm leaving the porta potties, the left hand side, there's this pinkish glow coming from it, and I'm like, oh, what's that? I walk over, And this I did not take photos or videos of, which I'll explain why in just a second. So I'm committing a lot of this to memory. Like I did commit a lot of this to memory. And I did find one photo, and someone tagged me in a video. So shout out to you who did that. That also backs up what I remember. But it was like a carnival setup, you know, it had like the tents, the colorful tents. I remember walking through it just a little bit, but it was so dark and there wasn't really anyone back there. And I'm not that crazy. So I said, you know, I'm gonna walk, but not this far into it. So I remember seeing like the carnival toss. I believe they had like one of those fortune teller like boxes, you know, like as if someone was going to read your fortune, but no one was really in there. Like, you know, I feel like I remember a pinball machine. It was that type of thing. And as I start turning to the right, this is where, for the first time, I actually do have a bad feeling. Like, this is the first time I can acknowledge that even then, when I was, you know, feeling like everything was good, I didn't feel good about this because the statue was really creepy. Now, what did I tell y'all earlier? I don't judge art just because it's weird to me. And I don't call it demonic just because it's weird to me. But some things, like, you know, you just got to call a spade a spade. So the statue, like, I remember, now this, maybe I am blending in two different images I've seen of Travis. But I remembered that the top half of him was coming out of something, and the bottom, I remembered it being like an animal of some sort, half bull, something like that. All the photos that I've looked up, they don't show the back of it. There was one photo that showed the front half of him being unloaded off a truck, and it didn't show anything behind it. So that's why I'm saying maybe I'm mixing two different images, but I will never forget how creeped out I was by that statue, because his hands were like turning, like they were turning into like a creature's hand, and his face was just like, oh, you know, he's like gnashing his teeth, and it's like he's trying to rip out of something. It's like something is hurting him and he's just trying to rip out of it. And that, this is where I will, for the first time, drop that D word. It was given demonic. And I remember looking at that statue and thinking, what the hell is going on? Like, what the hell is going on here? What is this? And I also remember being so shocked, because keep in mind, all I really know about Travis is his music. And up to that point, the only visuals I really saw were Stop Trying to Be God, because I love James Blake. I've seen James Blake a few times. I really love James Blake. So I remember the Stop Trying to Be God visual, and whatever that promo was for like ASTROWORLD itself, where he's getting pushed in a shopping cart or whatever. That's all I've seen. And although those gave trippy, they gave, you know, artsy, they gave, you know, I'm the weird guy, but I'm cool. Like, they gave that, they never felt demonic to me, like not really demonic to me. That was the first time that I looked at something of Travis Scott's and I said, who is he as an artist? Also, as an artist, I had to pull back. And all these things, you know, when you're having so many thoughts all at once, if you have ADHD like me, at least, you know, which I think most of America at this point does. You can't function in the society and not have one. Sidebar, I hate capitalism. But I'm having all these thoughts at once. And I remember asking myself, what is he trying to convey here? Like, what's the point of this? You know, well, what's the point of this? Because all the songs I know from you, I don't even know where this fits in. So maybe I, you know, just don't know enough of your music is what I'm thinking at the time. Like, but it creeped me out. There's that pinkish light is hitting like the right side of the shoulder, and the moonlight is hitting the left. The chain is there. The face is in pain. And I put my phone up. I remember this so vividly. Like, I remember it almost like I'm watching myself do it. That's how vividly I remember this. But I put my phone up, and then I put it right down, because it was so dark. I didn't even want that shit in my phone. Like, I was like, this is weird. I didn't even tell my friends about it. Like, honestly, I had forgot about it for a while. I had forgot about it. I'm going to be honest, kind of for years, I suppressed that, because it bothered me too bad, right? It didn't sit well with my spirit. So at this point now, I decide, you know, okay, I've been out here long enough. Let me run back, because it's starting to reach a certain time where I'm realizing, you know, Travis is going to be on soon, but the countdown clock still hasn't started yet. But as I'm running back, SZA is performing, and she's like hopping around, I believe. You know, I have a video of it. She's like, you know, doing a little fun girl turns or whatever. And so I stopped to look at that for a second, but you can't hear her because they still have that weird music playing, blaring, even over the Jumbotron where SZA's like being shown. So I'm running back, and then I cut back through, and now I'm noticing that, okay, there's some more people here, you know? It's still not like jam-packed. It ain't nowhere near shoulder to shoulder. You know, there's elbow room. I'm able to cross over people, but I'm noticing it's a little more packed. And I run too far in. Like, when I go in, I cut too far in. And I know this because I'm back at these stupid barriers. And I'm like, how is this possible? Like, I could have sworn we were standing like right here. How did I pass them? So I start scanning the area. I'm looking around. And this is where I met with my second father and son. And the son happens to be poor Ezra, who did pass away. And rest in peace to him. And I do pray for his family. And I'm going to stop right here for a second to let you know there were a lot of kids there. When we walked in, something I didn't mention is as we're walking in, like past the barricades, there was a white couple holding a baby that couldn't have been older than 2 with noise cancellation headphones and a little beanie. I don't know where they ended up in the show. I believe I saw them once more near VIP, but I really don't fully remember that, so don't quote me on that. But we saw a baby from the moment we even came in. We saw the father and son that was a teenager, right? Now I'm seeing another, like at the time I thought it was his brother because he looked so young. I thought it was his, like 2 brothers that were there. And I do remember thinking like, okay, I know I've seen kids here, but I don't know if I'd have a child right here because, you know, it's still just a little inappropriate. Like there's still people here smoking weed. People are like, you know, having inappropriate conversations to me for a child. So I do remember thinking that, but I will never judge that father because number one, he's lost his son. There's no lesson harder than death because it's so final. So I'm never going to judge that father. Also, after everything happened, he shared why he brought him. And I encourage you to go and read that and look at it. And I'm not saying it's going to change your mind or make it cool to you. But at the end of the day, his father, much like the rest of us, never in our wildest fever dreams thought we were going to show up to a festival and not leave with our lives. That just was never a thought. Something else that I want to point out right now that I'm talking about age is that there were so many teenagers there. It was crazy to us. Like I've never seen this many teenagers in one spot outside of an actual high school. Like I didn't understand it. I'm talking teenagers with book bags. Like they looked like they had just left school and came here. It was crazy how many teenagers there were. And the section that I was in had a lot of teenagers. So at first I was going to stand there because I'm thinking, well, you know, honestly speaking, I'm thinking if a child can stand here, like whatever, you can stand here. And yeah, like I'd like to see Travis with my friends, but like I've gone to concerts alone. Like I do a lot of things alone. I don't mind. So I was going to stand there, but then the countdown clock started. And I'm gonna tell you right now, when the countdown clock started, the energy already started shifting a little bit. But it started shifting like to me in a way that was still normal from what I've experienced at other concerts. People are just really excited, you know, people are now really starting to throw water. Now they're, you know, damn near freaking chest bumping. Like, you know, people are excited because the countdown clock is here. We've been waiting like for a while. You know, we only waited a couple hours. These people, you could tell they have been here for hours. Like people are excited. People are excited. But they're getting the type of excited and the type of rowdy where I'm like, actually, maybe I should go and like find my friends. So I do that. I trace my steps. You know, I see this girl who had this beautiful afro. I remember that afro. I see this guy with these beautiful locks. Oh, I remember your locks. And boom, like after about 10 minutes, I'm in front of my friends because, you know, the countdown clock started. I stood there for like maybe a good 5 to 10 minutes, started searching to move to my friends. By the time I reached my friends, we're at the countdown clock, right? Like we're at the countdown clock. And so, this is where I'm going to pause, current day me talking, and I'm going to let my voice memos play.
What I want to say first is the music that was playing during the entire waiting period was so weird. Like everyone mentioned that.
that I could hear. You know, anyone who I heard mention talk about it, they were pointing out how weird it was. It was like a lot of like sci-fi-ish things. But, you know, I got like, it didn't freak me out. I just thought it was like kind of eerie. But I figured that must be the vibe that he was going for. Like, you know, at this point, I still don't even know what the show's about. We see the stage, but it's like, you know, we don't know. It's not lit up. My honest thought was when I showed up, it says, see you on the other side in the center. And I figured that meant the other side of the concert, like on some, like, you know, I'm trying to be dramatic shit. But like when the concert's done, see you on the other side, you know, whatever. And it was mountains. That's what it looked like to me. It just looked like mountains and then that weird message. And actually, it didn't even see you on the other side. Apparently, it said escape plan. And I really don't remember it saying that, but I'm pretty sure it's in one of the videos I recorded. So my reaction to that couldn't have been big. But I also didn't know he had dropped a song called Escape Plan. Like, I had no idea. But I had no thought to that. I just had no thought to it. It was like, okay, here's the stage. My friend told me her friend helped build it. So we're more so trying to figure out what the mountains are than anything else. Anyway, hits the 10 minutes. The countdown is there. We're all riled up. That weird music, you know, now it's starting to cut into more of a heartbeat. And that heartbeat, like once, I don't know what time it was that it started speeding up, but it starts getting faster and faster and doom, 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 doom. Like it started off just doom, 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 and it keeps going. And I noticed that because I pay attention to shit like that. And I was like, oh boy, this is going to get like people going. Like, and that's the point of it, is to get people like jacked or juiced up, however you want to say it. And, the thing starts going, and now it hits like it hits the 10-second, and everyone is doing the countdown. Everyone's yelling the 10, 9, 8. My hand is up, and what I'm skipping over is once it hit, I don't remember the exact time. I keep saying like 3 minutes is what I'm going to go with, and it might have been a little sooner. It could have even been at the 5-minute mark, but there just was like a pulse through the crowd, and we all just had to shift to the right. And I'm like, okay, now we're kind of squeezed in. It's a little scary, but you're not scared, like not actually scared for your life, but it is kind of like, okay, what the fuck? Like, relax, y'all. But we're at a Travis Scott concert. So I didn't show up expecting people to just be on their best, super duper great behavior. Because even when I went to ASAP Mob show, like for my first concert, you know, it was an open space and people were still trying to push in. So I just know how people get at concerts. People lose their minds to get to the front. So they're pushing in, and we're trying to push back to be like, yo, relax. Maybe not even 30 seconds to go by, boosh, push us back in. And it was like 2 or 3 at a time. Like, I like imagine like when people in movies are like holding the logs to try to pound a door open, or like cops trying to pound a door open with whatever that little tool is called. It literally felt like that. It felt like we were being hit like that. And I didn't understand how they were able to give us that much pressure. Like, I didn't really understand what was going on. All I knew was the entire crowd was being pushed to the point that we all were moving. And when I realized, okay, now this is actually becoming an issue, was because I had to kind of like hop on a foot to stay with the crowd. And that, like, when I think in hindsight, I genuinely, like, my guard was down. And I think because I didn't realize that I was dealing with such an irresponsible crowd, I wasn't terrified of what was to come. I was just more annoyed. Like, why are people being like this? He's not even on stage yet. Now, like I said, this is still during the countdown. So yeah, it might have started sooner at like 5, because we had a few waves. And then this kid came flying over my head, which I wouldn't have noticed had I not had my phone up. But I had my phone up, so obviously I would have noticed it regardless. But I had my phone up. I just pressed the button, held it up. You know, I can't see anything. I just know it's facing the stage. I happen to turn it to the right where the kid is coming from. I turn it back towards me, like to smile up at it. Not even sure if the camera's on me or not. And then I turn it back, and by then the kid is literally like right next to me. And we're like, whoa, what the fuck is going on here? And I didn't even know he was saying anything. I genuinely assumed, yo, this kid must be fucked up and they are crowd surfing him. That was my thought. I swear to God. They're crowd surfing him. He must have asked to crowd surf like on some fun shit, because people have been throwing water bottles around. And like just kind of doing, like, from what I could see, that was it. They were just throwing like flinging water bottles while still holding them, so the water was hitting people. Like, people were trying to have like that type of, whoa, it's about to happen, we're about to turn up type of fun. Once again, in hindsight, I realized I just should have realized that the crowd was about to get crazy. But it is my first time in the Travis Scott crowd. I've just, whatever, I don't want to keep saying that. He went past. Then, like, this group, and at the time I said it, I was like, God, what is this, like a clown car of a group? A huge line of people, like they were mainly black. It started with like this black girl with big hair, and she was like kind of laughing though, like laughing, giggling. She's like, oh, we got to get out of here, like we got to go. And they're all like kind of laughing and leaving, and they're holding hands, and they're like, let us go, let us through, excuse me, we're just gonna go to the back, ha ha ha, like let us go. And my friend says they must know something we don't know. And I was like, girl, they probably up there acting crazy, because as we all know, mosh pits, and I didn't even say this to her, I'm just thinking this in my head, because, the countdown's still going. I'm not focusing on everything she just said, but in my head I am thinking that. But I'm also, like I said, we know in the front of crowds, it gets crazy, because that's where they like to mosh. That's normally where the groups are. So I was like, oh, they must have been very annoying. And at this point, because of all this pushing in, we are super packed. So, like, the fact that they made it out, it was because even with us being super packed, we were still, so they could move through us. And then they made it out definitely before it hit like a minute. So that countdown goes, it gets down to the 10 seconds and it stops, and nothing. He doesn't come out, it's silence. The stage is black, like the little circle that had the timer on it. It's just black. And I see a balloon float, and I remember seeing the balloon and thinking, that's not a good omen. I'm not even a superstitious person, really. I'm not even crazy superstitious. But something, I don't know why, I looked at that balloon and I was like, oh, and I followed it, like with my camera. I was like, someone released a single balloon. Where'd that even come from? Because where'd that even come from? They released a balloon, and a few seconds later, you hear the music. Brum. He jumps up, and the moment, like, I don't see him. Like I keep saying, I can't see anything because of my height. My phone is just up. But the moment that he shot out of that stage, shit shifted. So, yeah, I'm going to pause it here for a second just to go a little bit clearer about the explanation of the vroom sounds that I was making for you. That sound is literally what that was what I could hear and feel coming through my body, right? Vroom, like it was pushing us that fast. If we're standing like this, vroom, like it just is literally pushing us like that, whatever this like force is. Now, I don't really specify it here, but to help you understand my mentality, I can't speak for my friends, but my mentality, my thought was, there must be people trying to get in, but once they realize they can't come in, they're gonna back the hell off, right? I'm thinking people are gonna be logical. That was my mistake. I'm also thinking they sold a restricted amount of tickets. So at a certain point, these people have to literally just like kind of leave. Like they kind of have to leave and just go spread out to the field, like whatever. We don't know that it's been double sold. We're almost triple capacity from what they told us that it was supposed to be at. And we obviously do not build stages. So we also are not thinking about the fact that everyone who's leaving SZA's stage right now is trying to get into the front of Travis's set all at once. We didn't even think about that. So in my mind, the only way I can wrap my mind around it at the time is, I've been in concerts. I'm no stranger to people trying to push past, but they always chill out. Or like maybe some of them do make it through, but we were so packed that no one was even making it through me. I need to make that very clear too. No one was passing me. We're literally just being shifted. Like it literally feels like someone's just double punching us to the back and we're all going forward. So I'm like, at a certain point, they're gonna have to stop because there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go, right? And at this point, for those who have seen the videos where people are basically getting crushed, this is where I do place that trigger warning. I will start talking about what that experience was like for me. I just remember my ribs being crushed. and we're all jumping up, like on one foot, jumping. And it's kind of okay at first, but you're like, I'm uncomfortable. I'm like, oh God, this feels, I don't really like how this feels. I don't like how this feels. I'm able to get my phone up one more time because I was like, I just want to get his entrance. That's what me and even the strangers around me were saying. They were asking, when should you record, you think? I was like, I say record in the beginning and then put the phone away for the rest. And they were like, nah, you know what? I think I won't put my phone up for the beginning and I'll record towards the middle of it. Because people will probably be too crazy to record in the beginning. So let's just let the crowd die down a little bit and then we'll record. Like, that is how we were talking, the people around me. We were talking more just, how are we going to enjoy this show? How are we going to have fun during this show? I can't wait to hear XYZ song. That's how it's going. Anyway, we're jumping. I put my phone up. I catch I don't even know how much of the first song, then I have to put my phone away. Because now at this point, I'm talking, the crowd is shaking me. Like we are shaking while jumping. And when I realized, like I said earlier, how you had to hop on one foot, it was different. Like, I had to hold my abs in at one point to stay because I work out. So I know how to balance my body pretty well. And as the crowd was going right, then the right would push you back and you go left, and they push you to the front while people were trying to surge forward, and you had to keep up. And if the person in front of you wasn't keeping up, you had to find a way to not step on them or fall down. Like, it was a lot of that, just front, back, left, right, front, back, left, right, front, back. It's like your feet are barely touching the ground, 1 foot on the ground, 1 foot off the ground, hop here, hop there. And the girl behind me was like, that all I remember first was the girl behind me saying, I'm ready to go. And when she said that, that's when I realized I'm not tripping. This shit is not normal. I turned around and her face was already starting to kind of be crushed by the guys behind her, like buried, where she could barely breathe. And I turned around and I was like, I'm going to go with you. And I said to the guy next to me, I'm like, let me out, like, let us out. And he was like, I can't move. And I'm like, no, you have to move. Like, we have to go, because now I can't breathe. Like, now it's like the crowd continued. We were already smashing up against one another within the first song. By the second line, it was hell of his song. I don't even know, once again, like I said, I didn't even know he dropped a song called Escape Plan, but I realized I didn't even know what song was playing. I couldn't even tell you what song was playing. And had it not been for people telling me afterwards that was the first song, I didn't even remember. Like, I was too busy focusing on breathing than anything else. So the guy next to me, he looks at me and he sees my face and he's like, you need to lift your chin. And I was like, I can't breathe. He's like, you need to lift your chin and lift both your arms. I was able to lift my chin. I could only lift my right arm. My left arm just could not move. It's pinned to my side because of how tight we were. And I'm jumping. My sides are being crushed. Something's in my neck. My arm eventually starts to get into the guy's neck and he's looking at me like in pain. And I'm looking at him like, I'm sorry, I can't move my arm because I can't even breathe now. Like, now I can't even control my body. The girl who first said, I want to go, she's looking at me in the face. She locks eyes with me and she's like, help me, please. Like, just help me get up and crowd surf me out, is like the last full sentence she said. And I was like, I can't, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Then I just started screaming, I can't breathe, I'm going to die. I can't breathe, I'm dying, let me out. I just kept screaming that. And then there's people around me I'm starting to hear screaming, help me, help, screaming. I kind of zone out. Now I don't even really know what song is playing. I don't even know. All I know is it pauses. I remember it pausing. Then I remember the beat. I remember the beat for Highest in the Room dropping, but in that moment, I couldn't hear the song. I just remember when the beat dropped, the crowd converged even more, and now it was done. I was done. I could hear the bones in my body. Like, I could hear them. I could hear people's bones against. As I'm trying to breathe, I can't breathe. Because my chest is being crushed. Like, I can't breathe. My sides are crushed. And I couldn't even scream at this point anymore. Now, I'm just looking up at the sky and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die in here, you know, like. And my asthma, like I have asthma, but I also do yoga. So I said to myself, Niara, you have to relax your whole body and don't tense up. And you have to breathe, because if you don't breathe, you're going to die. Like the heat was ridiculous. The heat was ridiculous from the first drop. Like the moment he jumped out the stage and the crowd is jumping up and down, you can feel the heat rising up your body, like up, down. As you jump, up, down. The heat running up and down. So this heat has been going the entire time. I'm screamed out. I can't say anything else. I just can't. My body's crushed. The girl who was next to me, I don't even see her anymore. I don't even see her. She was dropping down. She was in someone's shoulder at one point, and I don't even see her anymore. The guy who told me how to move my arms and whatever, he's like, listen, I'm going to help. Like, he said something along the lines, I'm going to help you. Like, I'm going to help get you out. But I'm losing. I'm passing out. The air is literally being pushed out of my body. Once again, I keep saying I'm an asthmatic. I know what it is to not be able to breathe, because you just can't breathe. Like too much fluid in your lungs, things like that. I've never felt like being compressed to the point that air is leaving my body. And the people around me are still screaming and begging. And now I'm zoned for good. And I don't know what happened, but I looked up. And before, like I was able to move a couple inches by the time Highest in the Room came on, because the guy who was helping me, he was now like zoned forward, and I had to bite his shoulder to get him to move, like to wake up and pay attention and let me move past him. Crowd still jumping. I don't remember the exact events after this. All I remember is I was going in and out, losing air, starting to lose consciousness. It was like I was fading. I heard nothing that was playing in the background. I couldn't even hear people screaming anymore. And then all of a sudden, the guy next to me yells, "They're leaving, latch on to them." And I'm fading, but I kind of hear him, but I don't know what the fuck he says. He grabs my arm and he throws it down onto this guy's back. And I start to breathe a little more, and I start tripping over people's feet to leave out with them. And they took me out a pretty decent amount. But then I got separated from them again, because the crowd, they're still pushing. People are pushing to come in. And it was throwing me. I looked at only one of the girls coming in because she was so tiny. And I was like, don't go in there. Like, what are you doing? Don't go in there. And she kept going, and I'm not turning around. I'm making it out of here. Like, this is hell. It was hell. All these people screaming. And I'm guessing the people running in didn't realize that people were screaming for help. Like, I'm assuming they could not hear that at first, because this is still only song number 2. So people haven't been getting crushed for several minutes at this point. Well, no, they have been. They've been getting crushed for several minutes, but it hasn't been like the full 10 minutes now. Either way, get separated from that one group, see people running in, tell only one of them, listen, stop, don't go that way. Another, and now I'm like, there's a little more space, but I'm back into the crush. I'm able to kind of prop myself up on the people around me, though. My elbows are a little wider. It's just a little more space, just a little, so I can still breathe. And another link of people escaping come out, and I grab onto them, and then I keep going. I got broken up from them, but by that point, I'm good. Like, now I'm good to move out on my own. But what was very shocking to me is that the point that I was at when I first came in and there was nobody there were so many people. Like, there were so many people. And I was like, where the fuck did all these people come from? Where the fuck did all these people even come from? How am I still like trying to find gaps in people? But now, like, I can breathe. At least I can breathe. It's still tight, but like I said, now I can breathe because I'm out. I'm in the back and I'm out. Like, on the way that you would come in there, the VIP section started when I was leaving out, where that VIP section was, and it was empty before. There was a lot of people, but it was still empty-ish. So I'm stepping around people. just to get out. And when I finally had just enough space to relax, like, because I'm still panicking, I'm still looking up at the sky thinking, oh my God, I'm going to die. And when I finally make it to a point where I can spread my arms, oh my God, my shoulders like were so compressed that I felt them expand. Okay, I felt my muscles expand as I stepped out and could just spread my arms. I took several deep breaths. I just started crying because I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I stare up at the sky again, and then I just start laughing. Like a laugh that I didn't even recognize. It was like a fuck you mixed with like a thank God that I made it out, mixed with like a manic state. I didn't even recognize that laugh, but I had to get it out. And then I turned around and whatever song was after that came on, and I saw people jumping, and I was like, someone's gonna die in there. But you're not, like, you're thinking it, but you don't want it to be true. A lot of cognitive dissonance went on that night. A lot of it from me. I won't speak for other people. For me, what I thought was, Niara, you're being dramatic. You've never been to a Travis show, so maybe you just weren't prepared for actually how ridiculous his crowds are, how gross the crowd could be. You just weren't prepared. But thinking about those small girls in there, because I am 5'4" and 195 pounds, and a lot of it is muscle, okay? I work out. I'm strong physically. I have asthma, so my breathing is not as good as it could be, but I'm pretty strong. And I'm thinking, if you just had to fight like hell, and if you watch grown men, because the dude who I was attached to had on a black shirt, and he was a bigger black dude who was running out. And I'm like, and by running, I mean, moving out. If he was eager to get out, and if I'm seeing men around me scream, help me to get out, I was just like, whoever's in there that's like 5'2" or under is being crushed right now, and someone is going to die. That I knew. Now, when I got out, I didn't think to look for medics. I didn't. My first thought after realizing I was alive was, where are my friends? And someone is going to die. That I knew. Now, when I got out, I didn't think to look for medics. I didn't. My first thought after realizing I was alive was, where are my friends? Because so I was one of the lucky ones who made it out under 10 minutes, right? And to be very clear, I wouldn't have made it past 10 minutes. So I'm really grateful. Sorry, hold on. I don't cry on camera. It's not my thing. Not my thing. I'm very grateful. Another common misconception about the entire crowd is that no one helped each other. But as you heard me say, and if you caught it, the only reason I'm here sitting to tell you this story today is because someone helped me out. As I mentioned, when the first song dropped, didn't know the song, but immediately I'm being crushed. Which at the time, like, I knew what I was feeling, but I didn't understand what was happening, and I didn't know the term for it. Now that I know the language, I'm going to use it. I was already being crushed, right? That I was feeling before was a crowd surge. And because there was nowhere else to go, it turned into us being actually crushed. When I say I could hear people's bones, I'm not saying that just to say it. I didn't know that this was humanly possible. One of the main reasons I'm going to have issues with crowds forever is because when you hear and feel a human bone in your body and it feels like an actual dagger, I can't explain what that does to you, but it makes you look at crowds like one giant weapon. That's the best way I can describe. When I look at a crowd, it's like I'm literally staring down the face of an Uzi, just waiting to unload on me at this point. I can never do a crowd again. To explain the guy whose shoulder I had to bite, who also happened to be my guardian angel that night, seriously, it was clear to me that he was used to this. Why? Because he wasn't panicked. Bro, he wasn't panicked at all. Like, he looked a little uncomfortable at times, and it was not until, like I said, all of a sudden when I'm like against him like this, and when I said, you know, shaking, we're jumping, we're moving, it's not until I'm in his neck that I finally see him break, and he's like, what's going on? Like, what's going on here? But I'm eventually able to move my arms like I told you guys, and I don't remember everything exactly as is, but there's some things I'll never forget in my life. And one of those is, as I'm moving, the girl behind me disappears. Like, when I'm fully able to just turn to the side, the girl behind me, she like really looks like she's about to try to reach out, and then she just goes down. And like I said, to this day, I have no idea if she made it out. I really don't know. And I pray that someone helped her like they helped me. But I don't know, because she was so tiny and she really disappeared from the rest of the time that I was in there, that I don't know if she survived that. And I really hope she did. But as I'm turning and she disappears, you know, the jumping goes on for a while. And I start to try to move again, but he's in my way. And he's zoned. Like, he was talking to me fine, right? Like, he's talking to me fine. He's helping me through. And then it's like out of nowhere, he just while jumping, just zones out to the stage. And I'm like, motherfucker, lock in. Like, I'm trying to get out of here. What's like, you're locked in the wrong way at this point. Unlock out of that and lock in to helping me get the hell out of here. Because like I said, I can tell you do this. Like, I can tell you're used to this. Anyway, I have to bite his shoulder because, and this I did not specify in here, but I do remember this. I had to bite his shoulder because at one point his shoulder is digging here, like into me, into my neck. And I'm yelling at him, move. Like, you need to move. Like, I can't breathe. Like I said, I'm gonna die. Like, I can't breathe. This is when I can't still scream. And the crowd moves in a way that lets me launch my head back, and I just right onto his shoulder. And when I tell you, he barely budged. And I don't know if it's because the crowd crush was so painful that a bite is like, it feels like child's play. I don't know if it's because he was so locked in and zoned out on that stage. But that's when, like, you know, I knew, like, okay, this is something real weird is going on here. Like no one should be able to, I don't care how seasoned you are in a mosh, in a whatever. We were not in a mosh pit. Let's clear that up right now. It was not a mosh that we were in. We were in a crowd crush because Live Nation oversold the tickets and lied about it. They let people overrun the fences and hid that and lied about it to people who were there, basically. They let the show go on pretending like we were still safe, and now we're being crushed to death. Do you understand me? We're now being crushed. So no one should be able to just vibe and dance to that. So that was really freaking me out. As I mentioned, there was just a certain point where I just can't even hear anything around me. I'm starting to go out. I'm starting to, when I say fade, I'm talking like, you know, you see those movies and as a person is literally losing life, their vision gets slower. That's very real. That is exactly what was happening to me. And I was succumbing. I'm going to level with you. I didn't have any more fight left in me. As I keep repeating, I'm an asthmatic. Like, yeah, I was the healthiest I'd ever been in my life up to that point. You know, my deep breathing really also helped save me, because if I had never been practicing deep breathing, I wouldn't have made it past escape plan. I wouldn't have made it. I would have been on that ground. I would have been getting stepped on. And I did drop one time. Like I dropped one time, but I dropped to my knee, and the dude next to me, he pulled me back up, right? So this is what I'm saying. In the beginning, he was through escape plan, he was helping me in the beginning. Then towards the end of escape plan is where he starts to kind of just black out a little bit. That was weird. The pause was in between escape plan and highest in the room, and I don't know how long the pause was or what he even paused for, because like I said, at this point, I mean, I'm literally forgetting I'm even at a concert. I'm just trying to focus on breathing and surviving, like the rest of the people around me who are screaming their bloody lungs out for help. So there was a pause for whatever reason. It gets quiet, and then I will never forget when that beat dropped. Like I said, it was game over. Because whoever was in the back of that crowd was now getting so excited to get in. Because that's one of his biggest songs, if I'm not mistaken. That's one of the songs that everybody really knew back then. So it's like the surge and the crush all came at once. I just didn't know that could happen to you. I did not know. So I'm panicking because I literally am being crushed to death, and I don't understand how that's possible. Sorry. I don't even know how that's possible. Highest in the room, that whole thing happens. Like I tell you, I'm losing it. The dude yells whatever he yells. Now, in the recording, I'm telling you what he yelled, but that I didn't know what he said. It's because when he first said it, I didn't understand. It didn't register to me what he was saying, because I'm not even here anymore. I'm no longer present. I can't even fully drop down because we're so tight that there is no going under. So now I'm just basically almost lifeless, bent over someone. And when I say he slapped my arm onto someone's back, what I mean is he grabbed my arm and he slapped it to the back of their arm. And that was a bigger man. So he was able to link onto me and drag me for a bit out of that crowd. And as he's dragging me, and I'm finally starting to just get a space, because to be clear, it's still very tight. It's not like it just opens up just magically. No, it's still very tight, but I'm starting to finally get just a little, I'm going from this, just from this to this. And as we get further through the crowd, my body's starting to actually be able to take in air. And when someone separates the two of us, thankfully I have enough energy to just start slowly moving out myself. But I'm also panicking. There are so many people running past me. Like I said, I'm not stopping y'all, but the few people who looked and made eye contact, I literally stopped yo, don't go in there. Don't go in there. But I didn't stop to tell them why. I just said that. And I know my face had to look crazy. I had to look crazy. So like I said, I make it all the way out. I get out. Never forget that. I will never forget feeling that deep breath, brother. I will never forget that. I will never forget feeling that deep breath. I think it was the saddest attempt of a deep breath, but the best deep breath at the same time I've ever taken in my life, because I literally almost died. And now I'm taking a deep breath. The laugh I let out, like I said, to this day, I can never recreate that. I can never fully explain it, but it was guttural. It was like something in me coming out I never even heard before. It was not my laugh, not my voice. It was something I never really experienced before, but I was laughing like a mad woman, looking at the sky, the same sky I was just looking at, and thought it was going to be the last time I looked up. I'm looking at it and I'm alive. So this is where I'm going to do a little bit more of talking about what happened afterwards. And we don't have much left, time left in this video, because I'm going to talk about my actual mental state. I think I'm going to talk about that in the next video. I don't know if I have it in me to really relive that. Or if as I keep going, I feel like I have the energy to tell that, I will. But for right now, how I'm feeling, I think that after I finish talking about the night of, I might have to stop. So when I make it out of that crowd, like I said, my first thought is, where are my friends? I see the light post that I remember marking, and I run to it, and I'm standing there. Time passes, time passes, time passes. From them up all the way until like way back, I was standing there waiting for my friends. And it feels like it feels like forever. It was total like about 40 minutes. So I could have the songs off because I don't really like, I'm going to pause and I'm, you know, on the story, I'm going to explain my mental state. Let me just explain where my mental state was when I got out of that crowd. I said I had a lot of cognitive dissonance going on. It was delusion. I was in shock and I was deluding myself. I'm just like, there's no way. Like, there's no way I almost died. Like, like you're being dramatic, you're tweaking. And it's crazy because I just personally experienced it. But because it does not fit the environment that I'm in, my brain cannot make sense of it. Like in real time, I'm working through the actual trauma I just experienced, but I'm not understanding that it's trauma at that moment. But I know I'm in shock. That much I know, and I know I'm manic. I know that. I can sense that about me, but I'm not even understanding how deep it's running at that point. So something I want to let y'all know is when I made it out, it was also a mind fuck to a sense because everyone in the back is chilling. Like when I say chilling, I'm talking big chilling. There's people sitting in the field. Like they're chilling, they're bopping, they're doing more what we showed up to do. They're literally just chill. I'm talking not even jumping. They're just vibing to the music, like just chilling, watching them, people smoking, people taking sips of their drink, but ain't nobody back there moshing, ain't nobody back there wilding out, ain't nobody back there doing none of that. It felt, once again, like a fever dream because I'm like, I might be crazy, but I think I just almost died in there and y'all are back here and it's a whole different concert. How is this possible? And I realized from where I'm standing, I can't hear because it's so far in. Like, I didn't really understand how deep in we actually got because the crowd surge has moved us forward so much. But I was pretty deep into that crowd. So no, you couldn't hear a thing. But I'm battling myself. I'm telling myself, that's not really what happened. You're just dramatic. You don't really understand. And this is your first Travis show, so maybe you just don't even understand how Travis shows work. Like, clearly I don't understand how they work, is what I'm telling myself. But I'm deluding myself. At the same time, though, I'm still on high alert because I don't see my friends. And I'm like, where are you guys at? Like, they were all behind me, except for two of my friends who were in front of me. And the last I saw of them, the birthday girl looked in severe pain, and the person who was with her, he's talking in her ear really fast. Like I feel like I couldn't tell if he was trying to calm her down or if he was freaking out. That crowd surge happened and it was game over. It was all about getting out. And I'm just like, if I got out, like they got out, right? They got out. But time is passing and passing and passing, and they're still not coming out. But I'm deluding myself and I'm trying to protect myself mentally, and I'm telling myself they're okay. They probably just couldn't find the light post. They probably forgot which one I pointed out. Like maybe they're sitting down somewhere, but I also don't want to move from this spot because this is where I said to meet. So just in case they are still in there, which I'm praying they're not, because if they're still in there, I don't know that they're making it out. I'm running in circles, right? I'm running in circles. Before anything, I told them, listen, we need to have a meeting spot because, just in case we get separated. I'm thinking it's just the crowd I'm seeing, and I'm like, this is a big crowd. Not even knowing how big the crowd actually is. But I say to them, listen, we need to meet at the light post right there. And it was the one right behind the VIP section next to a tree. So I go over there because I remember that's where I told them to meet. I'm looking around for them. I don't see them. Another song goes on. I don't even know what fucking song it is. Another song goes on. I'm looking for them. I don't see them. There's a girl sitting there barefoot. And like, she's like kind of laughing, but like in pain. Like everyone was just in shock. Like I don't think niggas knew what the fuck to do. Nobody knew what to do because you don't show up to festivals and this shit happens. You don't hear about this shit happening. You just don't know what to do. So she's standing there with no shoes on. We all have no internet service. Like, forget that. Because I texted them, listen, I'm by the light post. Meet me here. And it wouldn't go through. Like, it showed that it was sending, but it never said delivered. So I was like, all right, I don't even have service. Even though I see a bar here, I don't have service. But anyway, the girl has no shoes on. There's a guy sitting next to her, and he asked for her phone because he's like, I lost my friends. I can't find them. And he's like, actually, I don't even know their number. Like, that's how shocked these motherfuckers are that they're asking for phones for numbers they don't even know. But he's like, yo, I don't know. I'll just try something. And then they realize they have no service. And I asked the girl, what happened to your shoes? She's like, someone stepped me out of them. And I remember saying to the guy, yo, listen, in the future, I know this doesn't help for now, but in the future, if you ever go to a show with your friends, like, have a meeting spot because this can happen. Anyway, so I'm still standing by the tree. This guy walks up to me and, I'm standing by the tree, and then he does a song with Pop Smoke, so whatever song that is. And there was a song right before that, and I can't remember what it is. Carousel. When Carousel came on is when, like, right before it came on, I made the decision. Very in the moment. I was like, Niara, you have one or two options. You either stand here and you panic while looking for your friends, or you try to enjoy the show that you paid for, because you know what? It's not that serious. They're fine. They made it out. They can't find you. But don't move just in case they're looking for you. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't know what to do. Once again, I'm like, let's just stare at the crowd. Like, let's just listen to the music. Let's take that in. Let's try. Because why? Because I fucking love this artist that I came out here for. And I'm thinking, yo, my section is just disgusting. Because when I come out to the back, it's an entirely different concert. The people in the back are literally just enjoying themselves. Like, these motherfuckers are bopping. Only after maybe like 2 or 3 songs do I start to see these people I'm describing who look fucking lost as hell. Like, the girl with the shoes and the guy, yeah, I see them by the time I make it over to that tree. But like, the crowd that was really back there, they're pretty much fine for right now. So I'm like, try to enjoy the show while still looking around for my friends. So I'm like, all right, Carousel comes on. I love Carousel. That is literally one of my favorite songs in general to play. I just love the way it makes me feel with the bounce and all that. So it comes on. I'm like, all right, I'm going to start. I pull my phone out. I'm like, let me record some things, whatever. I'm here. So this guy walks up to me as he sees me recording and bopping to the song. He's like, oh, you vibing, ain't you? I was like, yo, I'm trying to. Because shit is crazy right now. And he's like, yeah, were you in there? I was like, yeah. He's like, yo, I hit the ground and I reached my hand up and somebody grabbed it. And he said to me, same thing. If I didn't work out, I think I'd probably be dead right now because that crowd is crazy. So, I'm talking to other people who are saying the same thing. I feel I could have died. I made it out, which is why now my whole thoughts of someone's going to die are kind of being tempered or tapered, or whatever the right word is, down, because I'm like, well, we all made it out. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck makes us special? Like, whoever needs to get out, people are going to help them get out, and they're going to be okay. So let's try to enjoy this show. But I tell the guy several times this, I'm looking for my friends. He keeps trying to talk to me, like, where he's from. I don't give a fuck, bro. I'm barely responding. I just told you I'm looking for my friends. Only reason I'm not moving is because I told him I'm going to meet them here. He asked me if I want to smoke. I hit his pin once. One hit off his pen. And then I was like, no, like, I don't even want to smoke, bro. Number one, because I'm wired. Now that I knew, I'm fucking wired. My nervous system is crazy. My energy is wild. Like, it is a wild energy right now. And I'm frantic low-key because I don't know what the fuck is going on with my friends. I don't know if they're alive or if they're dead. And I'm trying to stay on the side of the fact, which is, if I could make it out, so could they. Because I am probably one of the physically, I'm strong, but as far as my breathing goes, I was definitely the weakest one in that crowd out of my friends. So I'm like, if I made it, they can make it. And I was alone, technically. By the time I got split up, both of them were with 2 people. They're going to make it. I just kept telling myself that. I don't even know what song it hit, but I'm looking around, and I see and she runs out. And the way she runs to me, like, I run to her and we literally embrace. We don't even love people touching us. Like, we're not even like some crazy lovey-dovey people at all. But she embraced me the same way I embraced her because we were scared. Like, and I told her, I was like, oh my God, I thought you were dead. I finally said it out loud because I saw her. So I was like, I can say it. And it's not true because if I see you, then I know it got out too. And I was like, I thought you were dead. And we just stayed there and we embraced for, my God, It was probably like close to 20 seconds. Like, seriously, it was crazy. We both felt that. And I turned to the guy and I said, listen, because she says to me, I had to go to the bathroom, but we were looking for you. Like, where the fuck have you been? And I was like, yo, I've been here. I said to me here. And she's like, that's what she said, but we couldn't remember what light post. And I was just so happy. Like, now the energy shifts and I'm manic. Like, I'm manically happy because I'm like, oh my God, everyone's okay. Okay, we can try to enjoy the concert maybe. Like, maybe, I don't know. But I'm skipping over because it's all coming back in different pieces. Before I saw her and like right after I started filming or whatever, I noticed that I see a wheelchair being pushed and the guy's like running, and whoever's in the wheelchair, like their neck is to the left and their body is just kind of moving. Like, it's just bouncing with the tires. And I was like, oh my God, okay, somebody's not doing well. Like, whoa. Then I see medics run out with a gurney, maybe like above their heads. Maybe, I don't know. Like, it was definitely within the same song. So now the crowd to the right of me is starting to realize something's going on. And not only that, now as I start to look around, I'm starting to see more people searching for someone. It's a lot more yelling people's names. It's a lot of people without shoes, yo. A lot of fucking people without shoes. That shit was so weird to me. But I got it. So I was able to hold on to all my shit. And people weren't able to step on my shoes because they're too busy stepping on my fucking shoes and stepping on my goddamn leg. So I didn't lose anything, but my outfit is a mess. And I may just keep it the way it is as evidence, but that shit looked crazy. I threw my sneakers out. I wish I would have taken a photo. I didn't even take a photo of them shits. They were so crazy looking. My phone had died by the time I got out, so I couldn't even take a photo. But my shoes were crazy. They were fucking crazy. Anyway, like I said, now we're starting to notice something's wrong. I look at the guy, I say, listen, I found my friends, get home safe. And by the time we were like walking over to look for the rest of them, Drake comes out. So that's how long I was separated from them. It was a long time. A long time. I can't really tell you what songs are playing. Were it not for me recording, I literally don't even remember the songs that are being played. I remember him doing 90210 because that's when I happened to record him stopping the song to help the guy that was floating. I don't remember hearing him stop 4 times or whatever, like people are saying. I'm guessing it happened. I just don't know. I don't remember the music that was going. I was too busy fucking thinking about, okay, I don't want to think about this, but is it possible? But no, it can't be possible, but I don't want to think about it, but is it? While some dude trying to talk to me in my ear that I don't give a fuck about, while trying to somehow stay in the moment and listen to music that I can't even remember right now being played. Can't even remember it. Can't even. So that, like I said, we met, Drake comes out, and we are both hype because literally, like, we love Drake. We love CLB. We did a CLB review. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is like an artist that we all relate to. So he comes out and he comes out to Knife Talk and I record his verse. It's weird. It was like, yo, we know we got to look for our friends, but the artist you love for the music that you listen to every day is on stage. So you want to hear that too. So like we're running and we're screaming for our friends, but because we know they're safe, we're like, yo, let's just stop and listen to this song. We record it, we run. There's people around me screaming, are you okay? Or not screaming, but like talking to others, are you okay? Like, are you good? Do you need something? So clearly shit is still going south. And we're too busy trying to focus on a stage while trying to look for our friends, while trying to operate in this fucking chaotic energy we're all feeling. It was just so much going on. Then you still see the medics running to the medic tent because we're right by it. So there's medics running across to the medic tent, but you're thinking, okay, people must just be passing out because it's so fucking hot. And also, you assume people are on drugs because it's a festival. You literally just do not know what's going on. And all I do know is there was no security around. I only could see like medics. And I think I saw maybe like 2 or 3 cops. But like I didn't see security. Nobody. All I saw was a bunch of me's. And they either looked pale as ghosts or they just look lost, like somber and lost, or yo, they were heavy into the music. Like, that was kind of it. So finally, we keep running. We're screaming, and then she finds them. They're all the way in the back near the record store, because the text text messages are starting to come through, just so fucking random. I'm in the same spots pretty much, but text messages are coming in, and it was from. It was like, we're by this light post. Then it switched to we're by this record store. So I don't even know what time she sent these things. But later on, we realized we must have gotten out around the same time because of how our texts were coming in and the songs that they remember leaving on. And the other thing is, as my text messages are starting to come in now, I'm getting texts from the family that I was with earlier in the day, sending me like news articles. And they sent those, I kid you not, 5 minutes after we had arrived at the stadium. And like I said, the moment we got to the stadium, we lost service. But she sent me the news articles about how it was overran. I have some of my friends from back home texting me now at this point, and it was recent texts coming in asking me if I'm okay, am I safe? Because I'm guessing somehow they were already starting to hear. No, actually, one of my friends was texting me just to say to be safe, because she's like, I forgot you're going to ASTROWORLD. The crowds get wild. Be careful. Once again, I'm so excited. My energy is through the roof because, like I said, it's like, I know you guys are fine. I literally thought you were dead. And I do like one of the jump kicks in the air, like to click my heels. Like, I'm so happy. And Ariel looked like a ghost. Her hair, which was down before and done, was pulled back, and like, it was so messed up. It's not even funny. Their clothes were like disheveled. Shit looked so loose. Like, but Ariel's face was so pale. And she looked so distraught. Like, in the moment, for me, I kept saying to them, yo, I have to get this energy off of me. Because what did I know? I knew in that moment that it was wild energy. I knew that it was not me actually being happy. I felt fucking manic, if that is the right word to use. I could not explain it. And I said to them, I just started like throwing my hands out and like breathing out like that. Because I was like, I need to get this energy off of me, y'all. Like, you don't understand. I feel like I can run a mile. I'm not even a fucking runner. But when I tell you I could have ran a mile had someone asked me to right then, I would have, because I needed to work it out. My adrenaline was rushing so much that I couldn't fully feel my body, and I could still feel my pain. I could still feel muscles expanding in my wingspan. Specifically, I could feel that expanding and loosening as the time went on. But it was my ribs that were killing me, even with the adrenaline pumping. So I knew that with me getting out by like song number 2 or 3, whoever the fuck was still in there, by the time Dre came out, especially, was done up. That I knew. Didn't matter. I knew they was done. We left before they even finished their set. We heard they shut it down early, but we left before they finished their set. We left when they were still doing sicko mode, and I'm pretty sure we're still supposed to go from then. But we were like, there's no fucking way we're staying here. Like, we want to go. Because told me right then, yo, we saw them pull a dead girl out. And I said, what? They was like, yo, they was running with a girl on a stretcher, and I'm telling you, she was dead. And I was like, we gotta go right now. We gotta fucking go. When I stay here, like, now this is like, this truly is turning to something different. It was so dark. His stage was so fucking bright and red all the time, and then would crack into this crazy bright yellow, and it would go back to this crazy fucking red, and that's all I remember on the stage, was just red and yellow. I remember seeing him turn into like this fire thing, and I thought, that's fucking weird. Like, why does he have these full body emojis over him of him like being set on fire? But I was like, maybe it's because he calls himself a flame. Like, I don't know, but it was fucking weird. Did think that was really fucking creepy. Once again, still not even knowing the actual gravity of what was going on. Not even knowing how many people were actually there. A big part of why I was not searching for anyone to call was because, number one, I had no service. My thought while I was in that crowd being crushed with my phone in my hand as I was holding it up was, how can I call 911 right now? I have no service though, so I can't. But I thought about that. Can I call the cops? Is there a way for me to slide my phone up and just press 911 and they come here? I don't know. When I made it out, like I said, all I could think about was the fact that I was alive, me trying to calm myself down and focus on the music that we came out here for while trying to find my friends. And I'm not fully thinking about how to help those inside. And I'm disappointed in myself for that. I'm disappointed because I didn't. I didn't even think to grab someone as soon as I got out. I was too busy just fucking being happy I was alive. Seriously. And praying to God that my friends are okay. I literally prayed, yo, God, please, like, please protect them while they're in there getting out. But when I really think about it, another reason why I didn't ask for help is because looking around, like I said, there was no one to ask. Had maybe I seen a bunch of security guards around, I would have ran up to them. I know I would have. I would have ran up and been like, yo, somebody needs to go in there and grab these people that are out. Someone needs to stop the show. Someone needs to do something. Because even while I was in there, I'm screaming help. I'm screaming, please. The people around me are screaming, stop, let me out, help. It's just so much of that. But you're not thinking that that's going on in the entire section. Like, you're not grasping the magnitude of it while you're in it because you're in it, I'm guessing. I don't know. But that thought did not even cross my mind that, yo, everyone who's in these packed sections right now is going through it. Because like I keep saying, I didn't even know 50,000 tickets are fucking sold. I didn't look into how many tickets were sold. My naive ass assumed, yo, it's COVID. And we knew he was selling reduced tickets. I'm thinking this shit is at like 20,000. I'm not thinking it's even anywhere near what it was. And even had I known, I don't even know what that looks like. Because I've never been in a crowd that big. Never. All that to say, we all get together, we're walking out, and we're walking out. I am so happy. Like, I am so happy. I've never been happy to leave a concert or festival in my life. I've never been happy. I was ecstatic. I was ecstatic to leave with them. And we kept talking about what we were seeing. But we were all like none of us were happy. You know what I mean? And we kept walking. We're leaving. And as we make it to like the main lot, I said to them, yo, do you notice how quiet it is? Because as I was looking around, I'm seeing people walk next to me and their heads are down. Their heads are down, yo. At this point, we're still like, yo, that was disgusting. Our little section was just wild and out of control. We don't like this. You know, people are dying. This is fucking freaky. But you're still like, we are not grasping what the fuck we were in. And we knew it. I said it to them. I said, yo, once again, I got to get this energy off from y'all. Y'all not hearing me. I feel like I can run right now. This is not normal. I got to get this energy off. People were in there fighting one another just to breathe. Just to breathe. No one was pulling me. And I know that that's because I had my hat on at first. Like, no one was pulling my hair, that is. Because I had a hat on. And when I took my hat off, people weren't pulling me. They're too busy fucking kicking me. Like, I was getting kicked everywhere, knocked into everywhere. But nobody was, like, I was turning towards the way to leave. So I don't know. I have no idea why the people behind me weren't pushing. I don't know if it's because they were still facing the crowd. So they were more so pulling whoever was in front of them. Anyway, like I said, we're leaving. It's quiet. I notice it. We already had the plan to take the train out, not an Uber, because we were like, it's going to be too much. So we're waiting on the platform and it starts to fill up and the train comes and people start rushing into the train and we all looked at each other like, yo, we can't do this. Like, we can't do this. So they ran down to the first cart, but I saw an opening in the last cart that we were already in front of. So I just went in, and on the train ride into the city, I was able to be super quiet. You know, Cindy was playing Juvenile behind me. The train was like talking about what had happened, but they were talking about it more like wow, that was crazy. I never seen no shit like that. You know, everyone's just more like in the hype of everything. Like, everyone's still just in the hype, not knowing what the fuck really is going on. Like, we don't know what's happening. And then when we get off the train at our stop, they were in the back. I see them. And then that's when I realized all of that raw energy had gone down. And now I had no energy. And now we are stone quiet walking. We call the Uber. Is out of it. I have never seen her in such a mood. Even on the platform, she was sitting on the ground with her head like against the thing, like she was done. Her brother had more of a wild energy like me, where he's like, wow, this is a fucking great night. This is horrible and it was crazy, but this is a great night. That's all the type of shit we kept saying. This is horrible fucking night. This is fucking crazy and terrible, but it was great. Like, we saw Travis perform. Like, that was really cool, but this was a terrible night. And even before my phone died, it died with me sending my second tweet. But the first tweet I had sent was something along the lines of, almost died at ASTROWORLD. I've never been so afraid yet felt so alive. It was terrible though, with 2 like skull emojis. Because I'm like, people are probably like, I don't know why I put it. I just put it because I was like, yo, this needs to get out. Like, this shit is real. And I already knew subconsciously, I already knew that this was not fucking normal. Like, that I knew. I was scared out of my fucking mind for most of that show. I was still like, had the energy in me of fear and terror and raw energy and all that shit while being in a manic state. It was too much. It was too much, and I had to write it down. I put the hashtag because I'm like, I know for a fact this shit's about to be bumping on the hashtags because there's no way that nobody else has stories. Not thinking for a second that it was going to be as dark as it was. And then we're in the Uber going home, and it's really starting to set in. Number one, I smell. We all smell so bad. So bad. Like mud and pee and like, it was just a mess. We smell. And I knew we had to smell because the Uber driver rolled the windows down. And I was like, oh my God, this poor guy. I'm so sorry. I'll go into the lobby, and the guys and the girl who's working behind the desk asked us where we were. We were like, yo, we're at ASTROWORLD. And they were like, oh yeah, we're hearing like, a lot about traffic and the ambulance that are there or whatever. And I was like, yeah, it was crazy. Because even when we were leaving, there was tons of ambulance coming in. So we knew that niggas was hurt. Like, we knew that. And we could have told people that just from, like I said, what we experienced ourselves in there and what we saw from the gurneys to the wheelchairs to seeing the actual dead one of the victims that was identified, the 16-year-old Latina girl. They saw her. So like they're like, yo, all of us are just traumatized. And we say it early. Nobody sugarcoating it. We're traumatized. Like, I knew that. I was like, I don't even know how to feel right now about anything. I don't know how to feel. We get up to the room. And I'm like, all right, Nyara, like try to take a shower. And I get in the shower and I take it. When I get out, because my phone had been charging at this point, when I get out, the news breaks that 8 people had died. And I have the worst panic attack I've ever had in my life because now my feelings are confirmed. Like, I knew I was dying in that crowd. I thought I was being dramatic. I thought I was being ridiculous, honestly. I thought I was being ridiculous because I'm like, nah, like, who would be dying at a festival? Like, that's just not normal. You know what I mean? Because it should be stopped. Because to my knowledge, there's always people hired to scan crowds. There's always people hired to look out for someone in need or, things like that. So nothing about what we now know was known. So I'm just like, what the fuck was going on? So it's about 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm finished editing this video and I will make a part 2, which will go deeper into the aftermath of everything from being harassed by reporters and fans to the lawsuit that I, put forth and have now, since now won. And the deep dive that I went on in the music industry and Travis Scott himself, the imagery used in that show that sent me into a terrible spiral for months. And, I still battle with at times. And then I'll do one last video after that for Q&A for any questions I see in the comments that I want to respond to. But I'm going to leave you with this. If you ask me who's responsible, it is the event organizers. So Live Nation is responsible, because they oversold tickets and lied about it from the beginning. And when the festival was going on, they knew people were in trouble. They knew people were dying, and they did nothing to stop that festival earlier than it ended. And I hate to break it to you fanboys and fangirls, but your Lord and Savior Travis Scott, yeah, he put himself down as an event organizer. I don't talk just to talk. I did so much research when it first happened, not just now, when it first happened. And what I remember was that he put himself down as an event organizer, which is why he is in every lawsuit. Had he just put himself down as an artist, I doubt he'd be involved in them. But when you legally put yourself down as an event organizer, you open yourself up to legal prosecution. Whether he decided to take that job seriously or not my concern. Not my concern. But it is partly his job to ensure the safety of the people there. And I'm going to tell you this too. From all the research I did back then, the cops made it clear that they told Travis Scott in the morning he needed to stop that show. He needed to cut the festival. And he told them no. He told them no. So facts are facts, okay? You can argue with your mama. You can argue with your daddy. And you will be arguing with yourself, because I'm not arguing with you. Your delusions and your wants do not make for facts. Okay? So I'll see you in part 2.